brighter than the skies. Hold on, just let us escape and fly away tonight.
There's so many things that I keep in my mind. Like a curtains, there's a reason.
Your artwork. You wanted to be at one stage an artist, didn't you?
Yes, but as usual, I wanted to be the wrong one. I wanted to be a painter, which I was lousy at. The only thing I could do was this kind of work. But I insisted on taking painting.
Some of these drawings look as if you're preoccupied with abnormalities.
Well, I'm not really. It's just that they're not very abnormal.
Physical abnormalities.
Yeah, well, my earlier drawings when I was about 18 and 19 were really abnormal, you see. So I think they're quite normal. They might look abnormal now, but they're not. They're quite clean and fresh, I thought. Healthy people.
Very clean and fresh spirit of scepticism and all this. Are you naturally sceptical of things and of people and situations?
Probably, yeah.
Do you think people have a tendency to underestimate you, to think that you're barely articulate and that you don't have a mind because you're a Beatle?
They might have, yeah, I think they did for quite a time, but now they expect more. I mean, so some press conferences, they'll just come in and sit down and wait for us to be witty about nothing, you know. But then they won't even talk sometimes. They think we're going to give a show. So it's not all roses.
Is this why you play around a lot in your press conferences?
Well, no, we play around a lot. If there's just nothing happening, you know, we just mutter to ourselves. But it's usually the best playing around is when there's some good people there asking questions, you know. But if there isn't, what can you do? You know, sitting there waiting for you to entertain them, and you can't, you know, because we can only work if we've got sort of straight man, as we call them. And somebody's got to ask us something for us to say anything sort of a bit funny. You can't just go in and sort of, well, I'm into the room.
Here we go. I see the light inside you, brighter than the skies. Hold on, just let us escape and fly away tonight.
There's so many things that I keep in my mind. Like a curtains, there's a reason why we live. All the emotions I built up inside you.
Former Beatle John Lennon is dead. He was shot a short time ago outside his Manhattan apartment building. He died at Roosevelt Hospital. Police have a suspect in custody.
Former Beatle John Lennon murdered in New York.
Got out of the limousine, and they went inside the gate there, and then all of a sudden they heard 5-6 shots, and that was it.
4 cops pulled John Lennon out and put him into the back of a police car, and his mouth, he was bleeding from his mouth, and it was a terrible sight.
And during the day, this afternoon, before the rain began, a crowd of as many as 2,000 people came out here.
Police speculate that Chapman arrived in New York last week. He had begun to stalk Lennon from his room here at the West 63rd Street Y.
Yoko Ono released a statement tonight. She says that she told their 5-year-old son, Sean, what happened and took him to the spot where John lay after he was shot.
John Lennon's ashes will be buried tomorrow in a secret location. After his body was cremated yesterday in Hartsdale, the ashes were given to Yoko Ono.
Good evening. The vigil goes on at the Dakota Apartments, the place where John Lennon was killed and where his family still lives. Several people standing in the cold 5 days after John Lennon was murdered.
Some have come here from last night, others early this morning, and I must tell you that it's a strange feeling. Good evening, everyone. 1 year ago, this very night, a tragic event that was felt around the world.
It was 1 year ago, almost to the hour, that a lone gunman waited for his hero outside the Dakota Apartments on Manhattan's West Side. In a matter of minutes, John Lennon was dead. His fans and friends held solemn vigils around the world then, as they're doing tonight, 1 year later. John Johnson is live at the Dakota, the scene of one such vigil.
Roseanne, they are the young, they are the middle-aged. They are the people who didn't even know him, but who knew him well. The fans gathered here tonight who knew John Lennon through his music, through his songs, through his verses. They stand here tonight saying, thank you, John, for a generation of song and lyrics. That's
something inside me says I had to be here tonight, like the night it happened. I just had to be here.
His lyrics, his philosophy, his attitude toward life, his little signposts that he left along the way. He was a leader in everything.
All day long, they have been coming to pay their respects to John Lennon. Some with flowers, others with candles, some with tears. Police kept the crowd that probably numbered about 250 across the street from the austere Dakota Apartments, where Lennon's widow, Yoko, and their 6-year-old son, Sean, still live. The vigil on West 72nd Street, just one of the outpourings of remembrances that occurred not only in the United States, but in Europe as well. Also here in town at a local radio station, a tribute to Lennon. 24 hours of Lennon music and interview.
This is 95.5 FM, WPLJ New York. I'm Pat St. John. This is John Lennon, recorded just a little more than a year ago from the Playboy interviews. What else could we do is the way we feel about it. To play all John Lennon music all day. It's like today is the day we're going to have to get through, you know, just like we did last year. I mean, last year was certainly a lot tougher. After a year, you find it, I guess, a little bit easier to live with. I mean, you have to go on, and this year anniversary was obviously going to come around, and this is how we're dealing with it anyway.
It's hard to believe that a year has gone by already when John Lennon was shot down right here in front of the Dakota. Tonight, there's a little rose placed here by one of his fans, saying that, I guess, that they won't forget. And across the street, all the fans are saying, we love you, John. But they're also saying something else. They're saying that we're opposed to violence, the senseless violence that has entrapped not only this city, but most of the world.
I think he was a very peaceful man, and he was really killed in a senseless and violent way. And it was a waste. It was really a waste.
Sometimes we in the electronic media, in trying to capture the event or the moment, inadvertently trivialize the whole thing by saying too much. I won't. John Lennon will be missed by his fans. This is John Johnson, Channel 7 Eyewitness News, coming to you live from the John Lennon Vigil on West 72nd.
Here we go. I see the light inside you, brighter than the skies. Hold on, just let us escape and fly away tonight.
There's so many things that I keep in my mind. Like a feelings, is a reason.
shouldn't tell.